Hello, folks. This is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers to the drawing on June 26th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game, Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 3, 6, 11, 14, and 66. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so you can see that the 3 was orange, the 6 was orange, the 11 was red, and the 14 was red, and the 66 was green. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to color these in. Okay, so again, the 3 and the 6 were orange. The 11 and 14 were red. And the 66 was green. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. I have 2 orange, 2 red, and a green for 3 colors total. Okay, so up here I'm going to make this 343 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 3 color combination has now come up 184 times. Okay, so I want you to do some quick math. If you divide 184 into 343, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so my color code is right here. These are the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left is purple. Okay, so what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 different colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, okay? Or a good representation of each color, okay? So again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers, and that's the last 3 drawings of numbers. And the reason why that is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers, okay? So I'm going to start in with the 3, the 6, the 11, 14, and 66. Then the next line down is 4, 18, 21, 26, 38, and then the next line down is 8, 11, which is already taken, 14, which is already taken, 16, and 49. So again, I'm going to make these red numbers, and now I'm going to count how many I have. Okay, so I got 1, 3 is 4, 3 is 6, 7, 10, I thought there was 13 here. So I got 3 and 3 is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There we go. 13 red numbers. All right. So now I'm going to move on to the orange area right here. Okay. I'm going to start with the 5. Then the 35. 38, which is already taken. The 42. 57. Then the next line down is 9, 13, 42, which is already taken, 48, 60, and then the next line down is 17, 23, 28, 34, 38, which is already taken. Then the last line is 6, which is taken. 15, 34 is taken. 45, and 52. So again, I'm going to make those orange numbers. And I'm going to count how many I have. So I have 3, and 3 is 6, and 3 is 9, 2 is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm going to leave that alone right there at 15. Okay. So I think you get the gist of what's going on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, just to speed things up, I'm going to scroll over to the right here. And you can see that this is the new game card for June 26, 2019. Okay, so you can see that it turned out to be 13 red numbers, 15 orange, 16 green, 14 blue, and 11 purple numbers. Okay, so again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. Okay, so that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up. And that's what I want to focus on here. So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers. Okay, so the strategy here with this game card is to correctly guess what color will not be coming up. Okay, so you can see that when it comes to all 5 colors coming up, it does come up. It's come up 12 times out of 343 drawings. Okay, so it does come up, but it's very rare. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a prediction on what color I don't think is going to come up. Okay, so the thing about this game is that we're all going to look at this a little bit differently. Okay, so we're all going to come up with a different result. But for me, as I look at this, I'm going to go with no green numbers. Okay, and the reason why I'm doing that is because when I look from here and I just keep on going down, I just see green, green, green. Okay, so I'm just trying to predict what the ebb and flow is going to be. Okay, so you can see that the drawing before had no green numbers here. So that's what I think is going to happen here. I don't think any green numbers are going to pop up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate all these green numbers off of the game card. Okay, so just give me a second because there's 16 of them here. Okay, so when I block out a number like this, okay, this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these green numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet and none of these green numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and I divided it into 7 different groups. Okay, so this is group number 1. It holds the numbers of 1 through 9. This is the only group with 9 numbers here. Okay, the rest have 10 for 69 numbers. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to update this here. So you can see that the last drawing had the 3 and the 6 come up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the 3 and the 6, and I'm going to make these orange squares here. Okay, so the reason why I'm making them orange is because the 3 and 6 is orange. All right, and the 3 and 6 is orange because the color code said it was orange. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write down how many groups it hit out of these 7. Okay, so you can see that the 3 and 6 is one group, 11 and 14s in the other group, and then the 66 in its own group. So that's 3 groups total. Okay, so what I try to do is correctly guess how many groups is going to be hit here. Okay, and for me, I'm kind of leaning towards another 3. Okay, I haven't seen a group of 3 come up in a little while, like this 4 here. Okay, 3 used to come up a lot, and it just hasn't come up in a little while now. Okay, so I kind of think that it's going to go on a run of 3s here eventually. Okay, so what I like to do is I want to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. So I'm just going to scroll over here. Okay, so this is what the whole card looks like. So what you're looking at here is this big square. This is good for 5 drawings, okay? And the reason why I broke it down into 5 is for a couple reasons, okay? When I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings here, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa, okay? So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers. So as I look at this, I want to say again that there's 7 groups here, okay? And there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it, okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these groups will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So you can see that over here to the left that this is really heavy over here with numbers that just came up. And over here to the right, there's hardly any numbers that come up, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that there's going to be no winning numbers here in this group number 1 of the numbers of 1 through 9, and then the teen numbers of 10 through 19, okay? So I'm going to eliminate these 2 groups of numbers off of the game card, okay? And I'm going to think that the winning numbers will probably be over here to the right side, either 30, 40, 50, or 60 numbers, okay? So again, all I want to do now is concentrate on eliminating numbers, okay? So again, I'm going to eliminate the numbers of 1 through 19 off of my game card. Okay, so let me blow this back up. Go to the game card again. So get rid of the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, to the 16, 17, 18, and 19. So hopefully none of these numbers come up, okay? And we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so as I look at this here, I just want to update this so you see how it looks, okay? So what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks, okay? So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of this and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this 388 drawings I kept track of so far. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the game card and I'm going to find out what the numbers are. So odd, even, even. So 3 evens, 2 odds. So I'm going to write that down here, 2 odds, 3 evens. So the majority is even, so I'm going to highlight this, okay? And now I'm going to make this 188. Okay, so out of 388 drawings, the majority of even numbers have come up 188 times, and the majority of odds came up 200 drawings. Okay, so moving on. Again, what I want to do is correctly guess what's going to happen here. Okay, so for me, I think that there's going to be more odd numbers than even numbers. Okay, so as I look at this, again, what I like to do is break things down into 5 so it shows me that majority, okay? So here with this 5 drawings, you can see that the majority was even numbers, 4 drawings to 1, okay? So as I go down through the history of things, you can see that it started out evens, odds, evens, odds, evens, odds, evens, okay? So you can see that the evens is going to win this one here, okay? But for this next drawing, I think that the majority will be odd numbers. So we'll see what happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down odds just to remind me on what I picked. Okay. So moving on to the next one is high and low here. Okay. You can see that the last drawing had all 5 numbers in the low area. Okay. So all the numbers in blue are considered low. All the ones in red are considered high. Okay. So even in the ones in the blue, I got 65, 66, and 67 here in the blue. When those numbers come up, like the 66 came up in the last drawing, I record it as a low number because it's in the blue area. Okay. So you can see that the last three drawings have been in the low area. So I'm going to predict that there's going to be more numbers in the high side than the low side. So I'm going to write that down as well. Again, this is just to remind me of what I picked. Okay. So moving on, I got left and right. Okay, this one's a little bit tricky and more harder to pick. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this one alone. Okay, so I don't have to pick out all of them, just the ones that I feel comfortable at. Okay, so moving on, I got one last one, and this is the red and blue area here. And this one's really hard to pick as well. So I'm going to leave this one alone as well. So the ones that I did come up with is I think there's going to be more odd numbers than even. And I think it's going to be more to the high area than the low area. Okay. So one last thing that I do have something for the Powerball number, okay? Now there's 26 red numbers for the Powerball number, all right? So what I did in this column right here, I just divided the numbers in two, okay? So if you see a blue number, that means it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that means it's high, 14 to 26, okay? So over in this column, if you see a red number, that means it's odds. If you see a blue, that means it's evens, okay? So why I did that is now I just have to look at the colors, okay? So over here, you can see that it's been single red, single red, single red, single red, single red, single red, whoops, sorry. Single red, single red, single red, okay? So when's it gonna double up like right here, okay? I'm thinking that it's going to be this drawing here, so I'm thinking that, instead of looking at all 26 numbers, now I'm just going to look at the numbers of 14 to 26, okay? And over here in this one, you can see that there's been a bunch of single red numbers as well, okay? And now it's doubled up, and now I think it's going to go on a run, so I think this is going to be a red number as well. So now I'm just looking at the numbers of 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, and 25, okay, instead of all 26. So I'm thinking that the 23 is going to come up, but we'll see what happens, okay? So moving on to strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all the numbers and I divided it into 4 different groups and I put colors to these groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerball lands within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so let me go back to the game card and find out what numbers came up. Again, it was the 3, 6, 11, 14, and 66. So I'm going to update this right now. Okay, so the 3 and the 11 were in the red area. And then I got the 6, 14, and 66 in the blue area. Okay, so there's no winning Powerball numbers in the orange, and there is no winning Powerball numbers in the green area. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Now, if I could have correctly guessed that none of these green numbers were going to come up, I could have eliminated all these green numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball Lottery. Okay? So what I'm going to do when a 0 comes up, I color the background blue for cold. Okay? And if it's a hit, I color the background red for hot. Okay, so when a 0 does come up, this tells me how many zeros are in this column. So now there's 109, and over here there's 97. Okay, so as I look down through, you can see that as I look down through, you can see how many zeros are here. Okay, now these columns are pretty long, so I'm not going to go down through the whole thing. Okay, and over here, I'm going to make this 29, and this tells me how many numbers have come up in a row here. Okay, so 29 drawings in a row, one of these blue numbers have come up. Okay, so as I go down through, you can see that there's hardly any 20s at all. In fact, the longest streak before was 17. Okay, and now it's up to 29. So when's it going to have that 0 to it? You know, I think it's going to be now. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to predict that the 0 is going to be right here in the blue area. So I'm going to get rid of all these blue numbers off of my game card. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, I'm just going to knock all these out. Okay, so what I like to do here is explain these numbers off here to the left side. Okay, you can see when I go back to group 1, you can see that there's no numbers off here to the left side. So what I call this is sharing the square. Okay, so the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 with the 65, the 58 with the 68, and the 53 with the 69 here. Okay, so when I get rid of all these blue numbers here, I'm going to get rid of the 8 and the 66 along with all these other numbers as a group. Okay, so the reason why I have these numbers off here to the left is because of the color code. Okay, you can see that the 53 shares the square with the 69. So the 53 is blue and the 69 is purple. So I need some kind of separation there. Okay, but if I were to get rid of all these numbers, I'm going to get rid of the 69 and the 53 at the same time. Okay, so moving on, I have 15 of these option cards here. Okay, now they all use the same colors as red, blue, orange, green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so the next one I'm going to go with is option card number 6, no red numbers. Okay, so you can see that for this option card here, the longest streak was 20, and the red is up to 25 here. Okay, so I'm thinking that the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens. So I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of my game card. Okay, so it's all the odd numbers here. So I'm going to get rid of the 65 and the 27. Okay, so the next one I'm going to go with is number 12, orange. Okay, so here's option card number 12. Okay, you can see that this is up to 22 drawings in a row here in this orange area. And I think that it's due to miss. So I think the 0 is going to be right here. And we'll see what happens, but I want to get rid of all these orange numbers here. Okay, off of my game card. So the only one left is that 26 and 28. So I'll get rid of those. And hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, so that's all I'm going to pick from group 1. So I'm off to the next strategy. Okay, and that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups. Okay, so it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers. All right, but the big difference here is that, again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and there's 8 different color groups. Okay, so I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to update this here. Okay, so again, the numbers were 3, 6, 11, 14, and 66. Okay, so I got 2 orange numbers, 2 brown numbers, and a yellow number. Okay, so with these option cards here, I have 15 of these option cards as well. Okay, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, again, it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so again, I'm going to go and update this here. So I always like to read things from left to right. Okay, so I got 2 orange, 2 brown, and 1 yellow. So as I head down here to update things here, you can see in the red area, there is no winning Powerball numbers. So there's no winning Powerball numbers in the blue area. There's 2 in this orange. No winning Powerball numbers in the green. No winning Powerball numbers in the purple. 2 in the brown. No winning Powerball numbers in the gray. And 1 in the yellow, that's 66. Okay, so over here I like to count how many color groups are hit. So I got 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so the majority of the numbers were over here to the left side, to the right side. Okay, so when that happens, I color this 3 green. Okay. Okay, so that tells me, if I go back into the history of things and I'm looking at this 3 right here for whatever reason, okay, and I see that it's green, that tells me that the majority of the numbers are over here to the right side, okay? Now, if it's red, of course, that means the majority of the numbers are over here to the left side, okay? So you can see here that I colored this in, okay? What I like to do here is break things down into 5, as like I did in the past, okay? And the reason why I do that is because it shows me a majority, okay? So you can see that there's already 3 hits here. So when that happens, I color the background red for hot, okay? And over here you can see there's 3 misses, okay? And when that happens, I color the background blue for cold, okay? So let me start at the top here, okay? So we all know that the lottery is random, right? There's no disputing that. So basically what I like to do is, this is what random looks like, okay? I know that nothing's going to stay hot forever, and I know that nothing's going to stay cold forever, okay? So when I see something like this over here, where it's been really, really hot, well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what I think is going to happen, okay? So on the next drawing, let's say that this is a 0 right here, okay? If it is, what I do is I color this yellow, just to let me know that it's equal, okay? 2 hits, 2 misses. Give me some separation from the red and blue, okay? So, of course, I don't know what's going to happen, but what I want to do is I want to correctly guess where I think that yellow spot is going to be, okay? So it has to be, I'm looking for the zeros here, so this is an opportunity for a 0 right here, and an opportunity for a 0 right here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and pick this yellow one over here, okay? And the reason why is because, this started off really, really hot. And now I think it's going to go on a streak of blue here, okay? So again, I think the 0 will be right here. So I want to get rid of these yellow numbers off of my game card, okay? So I don't really know what the yellow numbers are yet, okay? So I'll go up and take a look. And this is 66 down to the 64, okay? So whatever's left here, I'm going to get rid of. So hopefully the 48, 56, and 64 do not come up, because I'm going to get rid of them, okay? So I'm going to speed things up here, okay? So again, I have 15 of these option cards. So with this option card number 2, I'm going to go with the blue area, okay? So as I scroll down, you can see that I think the 0 is going to be right here, okay? So I'll get rid of the blue. And that's the 9 to the 16, and you can see that there's no winning numbers here, okay? So I can't get rid of those. So here's the thing. As I look at this, okay, now I'm just going to deal with averages right now, okay? So there's 15 option cards, okay, and the average for all 15 is 4. Okay, so when you look at this, you're going to see lots of 4s through here. Okay, so that means on average, 4 of these color groups are going to have a hit to it, and 4 of these color groups are going to have a miss to it. Okay, so right now it's kind of like a 50-50 guess. Okay, so if I could say I don't think any blue numbers are going to come up and no blue numbers are there to eliminate, I don't want to come back here and pick another one. Okay, because my odds go way up that I'm going to get it wrong. Okay, so right now I got a 50-50 guess. And again, if I come back, the odds go way up. So I'm just going to move on to the next option card where I have another 50-50 guess. Okay, so here, what I'm going to do for option card number 3 is predict that the 0 is going to be right here in the purple area. So I'm going to get rid of the purple numbers. And that's the 66 and the 33. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the 41, 49, and 57. Okay, so as I go back to option card number 4, I'm going to go with no red numbers. Okay, so here's the red. So I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so I'll get rid of these red numbers. And that's the 5 and the 33. So I'll get rid of the 34, 35, and 36. Hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, so moving on to number 5. I'm also going to go with red again. Okay, so I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so I'll get rid of these red numbers, and you can see that there's nothing to get rid of. So I'm going to move on to option card number 6. Here I'm going to go with the gray. I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so I'll get rid of these gray numbers, and that's the 1, 10, 17, 26. So I'll get rid of the 42, and the 58 shares the square with that 68, so I'll get rid of that as well. Okay, so moving on to option card 7, I'm going to go with no brown. And you can see that the brown numbers are here where there's no numbers to get rid of. So I'm going to move on to number 8. And I'm going to go with red. So as I scroll down through, you can see that I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of the 37, 48, 69, 53. 63, I mean. So I'll get rid of that 69 and the 53 and that 63 as well. Okay, so moving on. Option card number 9. I'm going to go with no blue. So here's the blue. And I think that 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of the 227, the pattern of 227 on the left side and 1621 on the right side. So I'll get rid of that 59. Okay, so moving on, option card number 10. Okay, I'm going to go with the gray right here. I think the 0 will be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these gray numbers, and that's the 17, 28, that pattern of 17, 28 all the way around. So the only one left is that 60, so hopefully that 60 doesn't come up. Okay, so moving on to 11. I'm going to go with no red. So here's the red. I think that 0 is going to be right here. Okay. So we'll see what happens, and I'm going to get rid of the 35 and 56, and there's nothing to get rid of. Okay, so moving on to 12, I'm going to get rid of the blue. As I scroll down, see, I think that 0 is going to be right there. Okay. So we know no numbers are there, so it's going to be this 36 to the 60. So I'll get rid of that 51. Hopefully that doesn't come up. Okay, moving on to 13. I'm going to go with no green. So here's the green right here. So I think that 0 is going to be right here. So I'll get rid of the 45 to the 48. So I'll get rid of the 45 and 38. Hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, for 14, I'm going to get rid of the purple. Purple's right here. So I think that 0 is going to be right here. So I'll get rid of the purple numbers. Get rid of that 50. Okay, and the last one is option card 15. And I'm going to get rid of the red. So here's the red. I think that 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so the 45, 38, and 39. And there's something to get rid of. Okay, so I have 6 numbers here. I need 5. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2 and I'm going to make another pick. And I'm going to go to this option card number 4 and say no yellow numbers are going to come up. Okay, so here's the yellow, and the reason why I'm doing that is you can see that this has been just really hot through here. Okay, and now I think it's going to go on a streak of blue, so I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate these yellow numbers, which is the 61 to the 64. So I'll get rid of this 62. Okay, so you can see that there's more even numbers than odd, so I got that wrong, but there's more high, certainly more high than low. So I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with the 46, the 47, the 52, the 54, and the 55. Okay, so that's what I'm going to go with. Hopefully I made all the correct guesses here. Okay, all the correct picks. All right, so you know, what are the odds that I did make the correct picks? Okay, so let me go to that. Okay, so the odds for the grand prize, get all 5 white balls and the red ball correct. The odds of doing that are 1 in 292 million. Okay, so the odds are pretty steep. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct. If I get the red ball correct at the same time, then bonus. Okay, but the odds of that are 1 in 11,688,000. Okay, so pretty steep. Okay, a nice prize here is 4 white balls and a red ball. That pays 50,000. If you pay the power play, then doubles by 2, 3, 4, or 5. Okay, sometimes even 10. All right, the odds of that are just about 1 in a million. All right, more realistic odds are 3 white balls and a red ball for 4 total, or 4 white balls pays $100 plus the power play. Okay, and if you get 3 white balls, that pays $7, and the odds of that are 1 in 700. Okay, so I just want to go over, you know, the odds are so steep that I just want to say that if you spend $3 per drawing on the Powerball, there's 2 drawings per week, so you would spend $312 per year on the lottery. Okay, so in closing, I just want to thank you for watching. Okay, if you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Okay, and as always, I want to wish you the very best of luck with your picks.